Welcome to the You versus You podcast. If you want something good to happen to you,
Welcome if you want something good to happen.
yeah. Welcome to the pod. We're making fun of a cringe.
Today is your lucky day. I am your genie. If you want to, you are very lucky.
Welcome to the You versus You podcast. I'm Bailey. This is Lucas. Today we got a 10-minute talk, 10 minutes of heat, 10 minutes of fire, 10 minutes of get ready to fudging sweat. So today, first, what I want to mention is thank you guys so much for all of the support you've been showing our show, the You versus You show, the You versus You podcast, the You versus You scripture. Before we get into
the
it,
you versus you lifestyle.
please share with a friend who you think that this will be value to, and please show us some feedback. What did you think about our message? Did you have any comments, questions, anything that we can help with? Leave it in the comment section. Leave it in your reaction to this video. Like, dislike. Again, don't forget to share it. That's the only thing that's the only cost. If you're getting valuable from this show, if you're getting value from the show, please share it with a friend who you think will feel the same way. I'm sure you know someone like-minded like you, like us. It's our goal to build a community of people who also have the intention of leaving this planet better than the way we found it. Today, we got a 10-minute talk, 10 minutes of heat.
Wait,
And what we're...
should we announce the group? Even though we just kind of came up with it right now and didn't really.
No,
talk
not
about
yet.
it.
Not in a
Kinda
10-minute
just
talk.
on a full episode.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about it in the end. But what I want to talk about today, guys, is something super important. Probably one of the most important things, especially if you're in a similar phase that we are in our life, which is the beginning phase, the building phase, the phase where you're going through the dirt, the phase where you're, putting in as I can't cuss,
Family friendly.
going through hell, grinding in the dark so that you can shine in the light. Am I gonna F it up like this? Or what?
No, it's just.
I'm just
know.
comfortable.
You could take it out of that and like kind of just hold the mic if you want.
Oh.
Just kind of pull it out.
Oh.
That's why I want to get another one of those.
That's kind of weird. Yeah, that's what's kind of weird. But
Really?
so, guys, super important. This is super important to me. This has been extremely valuable in my process, and something I did not realize till I realized I was doing this the wrong way. What I want to talk about today is forgiving yourself. Actually, not being too hard on yourself. It's super important. Probably more important than being extremely hard on yourself. And I'll explain. I'll give an example. So one of the first things when I started, when I dropped out of school to work for a company that was providing me with training that would build my sales skills which I would then use to build my own company. I was always super productive in school. I've talked about this in our very first episode. I've always been a productive person. School, fitness, basketball, sports. No matter what it was that I wanted to pursue, what I wanted to get better at, I had pretty good habits to get stuff done. And then when I dropped out of school and I ended up focusing on this job that was gonna provide me with training to build my sales skills, I started running into opportunities to let those habits slip. And one of them was the time I would wake up. I went from being comfortable waking up at 5 a.m. if I wanted to or whenever I wanted to in the morning so I could get stuff done to oversleeping. And that was so out of my character. I didn't really know how to handle it. And so when I would oversleep, I would wake up so angry with myself that I let so much of that time pass. I can't believe I wasted another day. And from right off the bat, from the second I opened my eyes, I set my entire day up for failure because when I woke up, I reminded myself that I failed myself for that entire day. Even though it was one decision, I wasted hours, and that entire day was a reflection of that poor decision. And the reason that's so negative and that's so poisoning to everything you do after the time you do wake up in my situation for that mistake is going to be crippled by your mindset that you already let yourself down. So I did not have the ability to forgive myself because not only did I have such high standards, but I thought that in order for me to function at my best, I had to do all these things right. And one of them was wake up at a certain time, wake up at the time I told myself that I was going to wake up, that I wanted to wake up. And when I did not do that, I set myself up for failure because I believed that I was incapable of following the high standards that I put on myself, that I believe I deserve, that I believe would get me to my goal. So I started to realize something as time passed. As this habit became worse and worse and worse. What's that habit again by Warren? What's that quote again by Warren Buffett?
The weight of a bad habit is too light to be felt until it's too heavy to be broken.
Though that habit became too heavy to be broken, to the point where I just started adjusting to actually just fixing other things other than the morning. So if I started going to bed earlier at night, handling things at night, or if I would just wake up and fix my attitude in the morning, then I started creating another habit of feeling good in the morning, and that in turn made the rest of my day so productive that eventually the time I woke up, literally naturally, just that habit just naturally started to become more of a positive than a negative. It became malleable again because I forgived myself. I forgive myself for making that mistake and even for building that terrible habit. And after I forgive myself, I told myself that I still can do this. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I said, I made a mistake. How can I fix it? And how can I get better from this? And from what I did then on, I read a book from Jocko Willink called Extreme Discipline. Or Discipline is Freedom, the Navy SEAL Jocko. You don't know
Yeah,
who
I know
Jocko
who
is?
Jocko is, but I'm trying to remember the book title.
I think
too.
it's his first book. It's his most popular book. Long story short, he talks about how he would wake up, and what helps him wake up is he has multiple alarms. Jocko needs his phone alarm, a computer alarm, an alarm plugged in, and an alarm that's like not even electrical. Just hearing that somebody else that's probably one of the top 1% in the world of discipline needs that many gadgets to help him wake up. I need the same exact thing, and that allowed myself to forgive the mistakes that I made and adjust. So after I forgive myself, I was able to look for solutions. But when I was in that cycle of not forgiving myself, not only was I able to not find a solution for waking up, but every single thing I did after that, I was not able to carry the confidence in order to perform at my best self. Thoughts?
Learning to balance having extreme discipline and being hard on yourself, but not too hard on the self that if you do make a mistake, like your whole day is ruined or whatever, is probably going to be one of the hardest things to learn how to balance as a human being in general. Because when you have these goals and you're on this road to reach these goals and you have a lapse of judgment, or you are doing like a fitness goal and like you have a bad meal that you weren't supposed to, it's so easy to get super down on yourself and be like, man, like I suck at this, and just get super mad at yourself. But in reality, we're all humans. We're all going to make some mistakes. It's just learning from those mistakes and consistently making less mistakes as time goes on.
Yeah, 100%. You have to remember that every single day is an opportunity. So you can't let one mistake affect your entire day. I mean, this is basically the David Meltzer show, I know. But with David Meltzer, I know.
Welcome back on the David Meltzer Quotes podcast.
Yeah, what David Meltzer says is I believe he says you can never have a bad day or you can never have a bad week or something like that, because really it all comes down to one bad thing that happened to you, and then you let that affect you. And we used this ship analogy a few episodes ago, but this applies to this as well, because the ship analogy was for your mindset, and this has 100% to do with your mindset. This stems from the mind, what we're talking about. A ship doesn't sink unless you let water go inside of it. So you have to do everything you can to keep this strong up here, to keep your head strong. And one of those things is when you make a mistake, you have to be that silver line. You have to be that silver line. You have to be the one that's assessing, what can I learn from this? What standards should I What standard should I set for myself so that I can move on from this in a successful manner? How could I not let this happen again? You know, adjust. It's adjusting is the language of entrepreneurship. It's the language of sports. I mean, Kobe Bryant. If you've seen his documentary, the Last Dance, Michael Jordan's documentary, and you always hear about them not only grinding in the gym, but where else? In the film room. They're watching film. They're seeing where they can adjust. They're looking at mistakes that they've made or maybe other teams have made that are not. They're looking at them as opportunities to make a difference and for growth. So you cannot do that if you're not forgiving yourself. You can only do that when you can see yourself transparently, the mistake that you made, and understand that that is just a part of the process. And it starts with forgiveness. Anything else?
You spit a little bit of bars on this one, G. We're already over the 10 minutes, so let's wrap it up.
It'll still be a 10-minute episode. Thanks for lifting, guys. Again, please share it with someone who you think needs to hear this, who you think needs to forgive himself so he can become the best version of himself. Find me at I am Bailey Contreras on Instagram, TikTok, Bailey Contreras on YouTube, Lucas Wavy on Instagram. Are you that on TikTok too, Lucas Wavy?
On every single social media
Yeah,
platform.
I need to do that too. Lucas Wavy on
Instagram,
everything.
Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat.
The You versus You podcast
don't
on
add me on
YouTube.
Snapchat, I'll block you.
The You versus You podcast on YouTube, Spotify, the Anchor app, everything.
Yeah, just to make it real simple, we have a link tree in both of our bios. Did I send you the Anchor link or no?
Real simple.
If not, I need to,
No, but I
'cause-
saw that it was on your link tree like last night.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. You click the Anchor link, it'll show you everywhere that we're available on. Because it's even like, I'm not even gonna lie, some stuff I haven't even heard of. But you might use it, so just go ahead, click that link in my bio after hitting my follow button if you want something good to happen to you.
If you want something good to happen to you, have a nice day and thanks for lifting.
Thanks for lifting.